Let's talk about what just happened in the UK. The UK's opposition Labour Party winning a huge parliamentary majority in the country's general election, unseating the incumbent Conservatives after 14 years. And just hours ago, outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak conceding defeat after less than 2 years in office, apologizing to his party for the scale of the loss. Keir Starmer, leader of the centre-left Labour, will now become the country's next Prime Minister. Take a look.
Now we can look forward again, walk into the morning, the sunlight of hope, pale at first, but getting stronger through the day, shining once again on a country with the opportunity after 14 years to get its future back.
Okay, joining us right now, Sky News anchor, MSNBC, CNBC news contributor, and one of our own is back in town.
It's great to be here, guys.
Wilfred Frost is here.
Great to be around the desk.
Okay, so tell us
Happy
what this...
Fourth to you guys.
Thank you.
Well.
Back as a father.
Back as a father, too. So tell us what this all means.
So, by the way, firstly, that picture we just showed of Sunak offering his resignation was sort of moments ago, and he's now seeing the King. He'll offer his resignation. The King will then invite Starmer to form a government. So we'll see Starmer return to Downing Street in the next hour or so as Prime Minister. What this means is that Keir Starmer is perhaps the most powerful Prime Minister since Tony Blair in 1997. He's got a massive majority. He can do what he wants, of course. Over there in the UK, the executive is drawn from the legislature, and he's got a huge majority in it. So basically what he wants to pass will happen. And that's off actually quite a small percentage of the vote. He's got over 60% of the seats from just 34% of the vote. And the lesson from this really is much more of an implosion of the Conservative Party necessarily than a Labour Party victory. But to give Starmer and the Labour Party credit, they read the tea leaves over the last couple of years and thus played things very, very safe, didn't want to rock the boat, and it's worked.
Tony Blair had an actual bigger majority than this.
Well, neck and neck, actually,
yeah.
as things go.
Yeah, some not quite as many, 4 or less or something like that.
Some had predicted a bigger win for Labour than this, but, you know, this is a huge victory. There's no question about that. The big story of the night. From a policy
perspective, how's it going to change Britain? But maybe you can also just suggest what's going to happen in all of Europe, because we're also watching what's happening in France.
Yeah, so on the policy perspective, firstly, because they knew that the Tories were unpopular and therefore they could play it safe, they didn't want to differ too much in terms of the manifesto. Also, because there's not much money to spend, finances are tight. So fiscally, their manifestos weren't that different at the margin. They want to increase taxes on private school education, for example, but they ruled out increasing income tax. So there's not a massive difference on some of those minor policy fronts. I interviewed Jamie Dimon in London a few weeks ago, and he just met with both leaders. And the headline from that, he said, both of them are pro-business. So again, that's worth reading. He's perhaps not as centrist as Tony Blair, but only marginally to the left. He's certainly not like Jeremy Corbyn, you know, who's obviously the sort of Bernie Sanders characters of British politics. The really interesting perspective for business is twofold. One, they've got 5 years of certainty ahead of them with someone that's broadly at least pro-business, whereas in the last 3 or 4 years, with such a big majority, but there's no threats to his party within his leadership, whereas we kept changing leader in the last couple of years. There's also the possibility to take the UK a bit closer to the EU again. The renegotiation is next year. Right. It comes early in his parliament, so he doesn't have to worry about facing an election immediately after it and what that might do. And he's not going to take the UK back into the EU, but he might make the trade relations a bit tighter.
That has been broached, though, the possibility of rejoining, right?
I don't think anyone would reopen it, but because you risk the electoral defeat of doing so, and by playing it safe this time around.
I've just seen some rhetoric, people that want to go back and saying it's also. Wilf made the point that if you add reform together with the Tories, they were still much more.
Not in seats, in the percentage of the vote. And this is one of the nuances of our system. And you've never had, by the way, a bigger discrepancy between the percentage of seats and the percentage of the votes that Labour just won. So that's going to lead
Farage.
Farage and Reform.
He's an MP.
Only getting 4 seats, but they got 14% of the vote. The Tories got 24% of the vote, and that's more than Labour's 34%. In terms of the comparisons with France, you know, clearly Le Pen got 33% of the vote, and we don't know if she's going to get a majority or not over the weekend, but she'll get at least 40% of the seats. So in that sense, the work that Marine Le Pen and the far right have got, or the right, whatever you want to call it, have gone through in France, which has taken decades, way, way ahead of where Nigel Farage is. I think the other thing you'd say is, in 2019, Boris Johnson united the right in the UK under the banner of the Conservatives. Rishi Sunak has split the right. And that is perhaps the most devastating factor in terms of this result. The other thing I'd just say between the French elections and the UK elections, that the similarity is twofold. Both have had leaders who didn't have to go to the polls yet. They took a gamble that has backfired monumentally. They could have waited longer. And both incumbents have been smashed. Interestingly, in France, the beneficiary is more the far right, but actually it's also the far left. Macron came third. And the story there is actually the incumbent being smashed. And that's the same, even though it's the Tories in the UK that are being smashed, it's the incumbent that's been hit hard. You know, a lot of factors at play there. The Tories have been in power for 14 years. The pendulum swings back at some point. I think the interesting business similarity is inflation. Inflation is kryptonite for whoever's in power. And the difference you have here in the US is at least the rest of the economy has been going well. And it offsets the damage that inflation does, at least partially.
I was struck that you said both the Conservatives and Labour are both pro-business, generally. It's not the same. It's not what we think of it, pro-Euro business or pro-UK business. I think that's a little different, isn't it?
I throw back to my first times coming on with you, Joe, in 2016.
Is the left
are we all socialists in Europe?
Exactly. Well, not the UK so much. Trending, but
again, look at the snapshot that we just had, which is 5 years ago, the choice, or 4.5 years ago, the choice was Boris Johnson versus Jeremy Corbyn. And Jeremy Corbyn was, again, these labels get thrown around, but he was basically far left. He was much more aggressive in his manifesto and taxes and things like that. Keir Starmer has realised, really, to win elections and to govern in the UK, you've got to tack to the centre, and he's done that. Rachel Reeves expected to be announced as the first female Chancellor of the Exchequer. We've had female prime ministers, of course, but the first female finance minister today. He gets to pick his cabinet, so we don't know for sure what it is, but almost certain she'll be finance minister. She's very clearly pro-business.
How about France? Is that going to become more pro-business in France, or would you call Macron pro-business?
Well, I think Macron has been pro-business.
He's pro-business on a relative basis to what?
We always have to say on a relative basis.
No, but you see, I loved your chat with Michelle the other day on this, and I think she's absolutely right. If you point to the single biggest thing that's annoyed voters in France, it's his pension reforms. And it's not just the reforms themselves, which, you know, we'd all look at as pro-business reforms because you've got an ageing population. You have to lift it a little bit because it's kind of extreme otherwise. But that backfired. But he also forced it through against the wishes of Parliament, which the president in France has some powers to do. He lost a parliamentary vote and then forced it through. So it kind of all came into one to sort of display to people that they'd had enough with Macron.